GM, give me just a second. I am getting everything set up and we'll get going. What's going on, PP?
What's going on, brother? You doing okay?
Yes, sir. I just was sitting here and I was like, I need to start up another space. I am
Yeah,
not doing
one this
much,
morning.
so figured why not go ahead and get it rolling. By the way, man, I'm going to have to get that Santa Pingu back from you. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
I
make that
saw it.
happen.
I saw it. I was like, "Oh, that's Kaleo's. I'm grabbing
I'm
that. I got
I'm
to keep it
glad
safe
if
for him."
anyone grabbed it that you did, but I'm gonna end up having to work out a deal with you here
We'll
not too
we'll
long
figure
from
something
now.
out. I couldn't let that get into the wrong hands.
Love to see it, man. Um, but yeah, how's everything been?
Good man. I'm feeling the vibes. The feeling pudgy. Uh, Everything feels right. Charts look favorable. Looking forward to the next few months.
Love to see it, man. Rooster, my man, what is going on?
What up, everybody? Stonks are inevitable as always. I may have done something sacrilegious this morning, and I did have to take a wheat bid on a 9 trait.
Well, but dude, I saw that you picked that up a few days ago for like less than half that. So
Right.
it's not a bad move in a couple days.
right. I mean, yeah, but like, still, didn't want to let it go. Had to let it go. But we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully, me and my girl will be able to go to VIP Rolling Loud next month in LA.
Oh, did you end up getting the mint done?
Yeah, one's guaranteed. You can first come first serve for 2 plus. But we'll see. I kind of want people. They had a space this morning. It was like 2,000 people. Gary V hopped up, was talking. Like, so they kind of been pumping it. I want a little more FUD so I can, have a higher percent chance to get my two. Because, that'd be something really cool to go with my girlfriend.
I love,
But, we'll see.
yeah, I love how you're like Gary Vee was up there talking, but no mention of me being up there talking.
Oh, that's because I assume everyone already knew you were up there talking. Everyone here probably doesn't know who Gary Vee is. But yeah,
Dude, I think I was sleeping through the space, honestly. Like I don't know what my normal sleeping schedule has become is I will be awake and then I will sleep for like an hour, then I'll be awake for like an hour, then I'll sleep for about an hour, and
Hey,
I just kind of
you
rotate
know what
off
that
and
sounds
on
like to
like
me?
that.
That's my sleep schedule during a bull market, Kaleo.
That's it, man. So, yeah, I mean, like honestly though, that is a bull market type of sleep schedule. I really think, and you guys have been coming to these for a while. Like I think that we're entering into a mini bull market. And like again, not like I always try to keep the expectations in check for the crowd. I don't think new all time highs or anything, but yeah, somewhere in that 40K, like a little above their range, definitely possible. So still think there's a lot of gas left in the tank, a lot of fun. What I'm really curious to see is where I think there will be opportunity, one during the run up for NFTs, but then also I really think that, once we hit whatever the peak is, say that it's like 40K or 45K, somewhere in there, that there will be several months of distribution in that top range, like in the high 30s to whatever 40s, before we get a breakdown back to some lower prices. And I think that during that window will be really interesting to see how the NFT marketplace reacts. I think, if anything, that would be like the clear cut opportunity for whenever everything is, full guns blazing again. And that's kind of the so I don't know, but I mean even right now you're looking across a lot of collections like Pudgies are still just slowly grinding higher. Pandas are still up there, right around. They made a new all time high the other day. I mean, a lot of these collections we've been watching are bouncing back and slowly grinding back toward those highs.
I had to fucking weath a panda this morning too, bro. Like, it was one of the cleaner ones too. Like, I had to come up with 3 ETH in like under an hour this morning, and like I was tweaking, bro.
Yo, trust me, I know the feeling, man. It is not fun. But I guess sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Hopefully the rolling loud thing or the loud punks works out for you. I guess from the sounds of it, that's one of those that, it almost to me sounds like you're not even really buying it for the NFT at that point. You're buying it because you think that it's something that will provide you a lot of experience over the years down the road, right? Like it doesn't sound, from the sounds of it, the minting two would be purely for the flip on one of them, but the other one, you literally would want to hold on to that one because you just want to be able to go to the events for years down the road.
Yeah, see, I don't even know at this point too, because like there are like they said there's 18 one of ones where they get an automatic +1, right? And obviously like I want to bring my girl to this too, but at the same time, like if they start selling for like 15K plus, off bat, like then I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, because like that's a lot of cheddar like to make in 12 hours, right? Over a 10 stack. So shit, we'll see. Like, so I don't know. Like, I'm honestly like not upset like holding these just for pure enjoyment and to just be able to go to whatever events that I want to, right? 'Cause especially after like Basel too, meet a bunch of people. Like, I got people in LA now, people in Miami, like, so then don't have to pay for a ticket. Like, accommodations much easier. Just got to book flights. Like that brings accessibility to be able to go to those concerts like a lot more for me now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And one of the things to think about too, is like they're thinking about this too, and they're gonna have like lounge areas just for the NFT holders. So it almost becomes every single concert like has like an NFT Web3 centric meetup around it. And dude, those alone are like really powerful because like every like pudgy event that I've gone to, you make so many connections. So um, I don't know. I mean, I look at it like the mint cost for those things are like 1.5 ETH, and you look at the price of a VIP ticket, which you're getting like lifetime supply of, and that's like paying for 2 VIP tickets to like 2 of their festivals. So I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm wishing you guys both the best of luck. Rooster, I got to ask, man, how does it feel looking on the blur page for Wonky Stonks and not seeing those stolen stonks on the floor anymore?
Oh, bless up, bro. It was like just like you said the other day. It was like fucking 661 on steroids. Uh,
Yeah, I mean that's really what it was, and I was gonna wait a little longer before I ended up cleaning that up, but I just couldn't. Like my OCD was just absolutely killing me, so I had to do it. Like, it's one of those things too, where if anybody's gonna, get go through the process of having flagged what, because I know people, there's just, you, people don't want to buy something that's flagged on OpenSea. Like it's obviously the case because there were a lot of quality stonks in that, that just nobody would pick up. And, like
I
with the
don't see anyone on.
661 on steroids, 661 was a solid stonk, right? And it was stuck there forever because of that pending gas fee. And it just kind of weighed everything down, killed some momentum. And, like, I honestly think these were a little bit similar because, like, what are the odds that it happened right after Bog came in and did like a 60 something stonk sweep? uh, so, yeah, they've just been sitting there ever since. I'm like, all right, like, somebody's got to do it. I'll do it. Like, why not? Let's just go ahead and, get things rolling.
I wish OpenSea's policy was a little bit different, like on the stolen assets kind of thing. Because I understand why they do it, because they have investors and they want to like abide by laws and stuff like that. But like when assets are either recovered by the original owner or like the original owner, like if it ends up in the hands of a non-scammer and the original owner is like, all right, cool, I've come to peace with it. Like they should be able to sign some sort of signature on OpenSea's page saying, look, this was a stolen asset, but I've come to terms with it. Like, I'm either not getting it back or I am getting it back. You can please unflag this asset. I think that's something they need to work into their policy.
Yeah, what is the policy for getting it unflagged? I've
Honestly,
never dealt with it before.
I know the policy of getting it flagged is pretty simple, but I think there's so many hoops that you have to go through to like get something unflagged. They almost need to make it like an automated process, right? There should be some sort of signature that they can track back to the original wallet's holder and be like, hey, you go here if you want to like basically clear all of your stolen assets up and just sign a transaction and then they're all good to go. But yeah, you would think they could make that automated. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm gonna try to deal with it, mess with it just for fun. Um, and yeah, hopefully we figure something out with it. But one way or the other, I also had to make sure that I stacked a few more stonks because Bog was getting too close to me. So had to replenish the supply a little bit, and I don't think that'll be it. But it's a decent little start. AC 235, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Not much. Been a little busy with, I hate to say IRL, but my in real life job. A lot of your spaces have been at night, and I've seen that you kind of requested me to come up, but I'm laying in bed and I'm next to my fiance, so not about to start talking on a space, but appreciate you always the
It's all
invite
good,
up.
man. It's all good. I just throw the invite
Yeah,
out to the legends in the
but
crowd and give y'all the
yeah,
choice.
but still, bullish as ever, man. It's funny, like I've been kind of roasting this because Bitcoin. I'm not gonna say it, but one of these macro analysts, and I mean people just overcomplicate this stuff, man. They try to bring in the macro into crypto, and crypto is such a small market. Like it does affect it, but like there's more to it than people losing their jobs, earnings going bad, and everything. Like crypto's its own market, and it's funny seeing the Bears just continue to cope on the sideline, but I'm still bullish, and I think we still got a long ways to go.
Oh yeah, man. The Bear Coat is getting funny at this point. Like I was even watching CNBC earlier this morning, and the guy that was on there, apparently he had given a target for like what his upper. He's like, no way you see stocks climb above X level, right? And
Yeah,
the host had him on and was like, hey, we're way above this right now. So what do you tell everybody that you told that to yesterday? He's like, you just got to stick to the plan. You got to have a bigger view and stick to the plan. And I actually do kind of respect that sentiment, but there's a point where I feel like you have to have some type of invalidation levels. And if you're saying there's no way that it gets above X level, then that doesn't really correlate like with having any type of stop in place, and it just doesn't make sense. It just sounded like cope to me, but that's where we've been this whole time. Ever since realistically October, when everything's bottomed out for the equities in general. I'm telling you, like Bitcoin ETH would be way higher than what they are right now if it weren't for the FTX situation. I still do believe that, but I think that we're slowly catching up to that point. And here soon, I think we'll reach parity with what would have been had FTX not happened. And that's why I think there's an opportunity that's been created for incredible volatility whenever this range is broken out of. Basically, that we really will have that opportunity to kind of just chat up out of it because we're going to be making up for where we would have been anyway. So we'll.
yeah. I was gonna say. I agree. I think we're kind of in that. I mean, a lot of people are comparing it to the 2019 echo bubble, but I think we're in that month consolidation. So we're just gonna be bouncing around, and everyone's gonna be flipping bias every other day. And I'm just gonna continue to hold my blue chip NFTs and let them ride. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's my thing, man. I'm actually really it's been impressive, and I've talked about this during a lot of the other spaces, but it's just been impressive to see how a lot of these that have moved up throughout the course of the past couple of months have been able to maintain those levels that basically establish new ranges would be a new way, a better way of saying it, where they've had a significant leg up and they've either continued to grind higher or established a new range at a higher level. Like speaking purely technically from the stonks side of it, like, dude, we've established a range right up there underneath that all-time high where it's just continued to accumulate. You've seen, a small reduction in unique ownership, which some people could say is bearish. I actually think it's bullish because I think that small reduction shows, consolidation from a group of people, from the individuals that really don't believe in the project to, it is concentrating in the hands of people that do. And, still maintaining, it's still 48% unique distribution. There aren't many projects that have 48% unique distribution, like truly unique distribution that have this supply, this quantity up, near the 10K level. And also like this floor price, right? You don't typically see that type of distribution until prices climb. And that's what happens. Whenever you break out of a range, that's where you start to see the distribution happen again. Like I'm thinking about it, man. With the way things are set up, I wouldn't be surprised whenever the stonks are at a couple ETH if the unique distribution is up there closer to 60%.
Oh yeah, for sure. Since I posted, I made like a little thread on it. King Degen, when it was at late night space and he swept like 80 stonks or something, and we went up to like 0.4. But since then, we've just consolidated for the past month while ETH has ripped up 35%. So, that's pretty good. You're having that beta play against ETH while maintaining the amount of ETH per stonk, I guess you could say. So,
which means, yeah, if you're looking at it from the USD
yeah,
perspective, like, ETH is maintained while ETH is climbing. So the USD price has continued to, grind higher during the process of consolidation. So PP, I want to ask, man, what all else is new in the, I know you're looking at loud punks right now. Were you part of that OPPN craze?
Dude, don't even get me started. The guys in Abasha like said you gotta get this at like 0.01, and I was like, I'm fading this because I don't really get. I get them now, the open edition craze, but like I faded it hard and middle bell curved it. But these guys, they're the ones who bought OPPs like really really early are doing really well right now. So props to them. I love seeing people winning, even when I don't get a piece of it. So.
Oh yeah, same. I look at that and I'm like, I love seeing friends win on other projects that are outside of whatever ecosystem they're primarily involved in, because it just means that a lot of those profits are going to pour back into some of the other ecosystems. Like, if OPPN really does climb up to, an ETH, just imagine how much of that climbs back into the pudgy / stonk type of ecosystem.
Exactly right.
And at this point, dude, I won't lie, like with what checks have been doing, I wouldn't be surprised if checks just keep going to a few ETH. Like I'm sitting there and I'm gonna, like you, PP, I'm gonna middle bell curve it and I'm not gonna touch them, which means, that's probably bullish for everybody that actually is in the checks. And same thing with the OPPN. I'm just gonna let it roll. I'm gonna let them have their fun, but I'm not gonna top market. So, but like I think that there's a chance if they keep running like that. 1 ETH might be a little bit ridiculous for those OPPNs, but like I wouldn't be surprised if those guys are able to get like, some crazy day where they get up to somewhere close to a half an ETH. Rooster, were you involved with the OPPN stuff? Because I thought I saw you talking about it.
Yeah, I got a few OPPs. I had to fucking sell one this morning too, bro. I also liquidated a frog. It was a rough morning. But I still got 6 OPPs left still. Yeah, I kind of pinged him. I'm trying not to like shill like anything at all, really. But like at the same time, like there's kind of like obvious plays that have the liquidity and the momentum backing it. So like, I did tell some people about him. I think my first entry was like point oh 0.03. I made a call in the Room 110 Discord at like point oh 0.04, and then some people got in there. But yeah, it's been I guess a bunch of people didn't know it was Jack's second project, and we kind of like knew that early. So
Well, I was listening this morning. I heard he had one other open edition too, which is just insane. I don't
yeah,
know
he just started
how there's going
another
to be
one, I
enough
think.
sustained liquidity to support like 3 different projects within a month.
Cause you
But
burn them,
you know,
right?
yeah, because you burn them, I guess.
Burn
So,
them.
what is the other project? I hadn't even heard of that one. I just heard that there was another.
Yeah, I just found out about that this morning. It's like, I don't know. Let me look real quick. It's like VV something, merge VV or
Yeah,
something.
it's like merge VV or something like that.
Yeah, that just like ripped from 0.005 to 0.025 right now. There's like 30K of those. I'll probably be. I'll middle bell curve out of the 3 projects. I'm too late on the checks in my opinion. They might go up, but I just simply do not have the liquidity for that. So, I did get the OPPs. So, we'll see. He said once he gets checks on autopilot pretty here shortly that, he's gonna start messing with the OPPs. So we'll see.
Yeah, I actually think here's one encouraging thing that I'm seeing coming out of all this. The fact that those are doing pretty well for the open editions and that there have been a million other open editions that have been released and not every single open edition is doing incredibly well. Like there are a few others. I think Proceed with Caution is one.
Oh, and he said he's not
But
doing anything with Merge VB. I just got a DM that said that. So I did no further research other than the
gotcha.
DM I just got, just so everybody knows. But I'm taking it at face value as a trusted source.
Sam 4, man. Well, yeah, I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this because I think it's actually kind of encouraging that we've seen the craze start up with open editions, and those are doing relatively well. But at the same time, like I feel like the overall craze with everybody releasing their own stuff, it hasn't guaranteed success for people, right? A lot of these projects have, quote unquote, minted out or they've done decent numbers for whatever the claim in the windows, but they haven't all just had this incredible success. So, what I think that leads to, I think it's healthy because it shows that the market is valuing some type of quality and they're actually looking for something in these projects. And it's not just this pure
I
froth
heard
and greed play.
I heard Ope Penguins just minted out this morning. Could be burning those soon. I did get I think 20 of them.
Nice, man. So, PP, what's up, man?
Yeah, one thing I like to look at open editions as well, like since they're all the same, if there's no burn mechanism and it's like an artist like releasing his own open edition, you can almost look at it sort of like a fungible token instead of a non-fungible token. It's like them launching their own token because
I
they're
was
all
saying
like,
that yesterday.
yeah, it's like they're all the same thing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how we've all come full circle.
Bro, I was saying that yesterday. The real only difference is the fact that you don't have like, the divisibility of these things are, like one, you have additions, right? Like that's the only distinguishing factor. You have additions for each one of these. Um, when I say addition, like the serial number, I meant. So you have serial numbers for them, and I guess that's like a distinguishing factor. So they each have a quote unquote birth date, and maybe that gives it some type of distinguishing value. But outside of that, they're basically just fungible tokens that aren't divisible. Like that's, or they're divisible by whatever the number of the collection is. So, like OPPN or checks, the divisibility would be 16,000. So I don't know. I mean, you've got a market cap and you've got broken down into 16,000 pieces, but unless it's a very interesting phase of this experiment because, I brought this up to B-Ways yesterday. We'll really see whether serial numbers end up having any meta or not. So far it looks like they kind of have, though.
I got the 2008 financial crisis serial number on OPPs, so we'll see if that can do anything. I just got it through bids. I didn't try to.
Bro, that's the high IQ play that you do now with any of these. Whatever number you have, regardless, you just need to go find out what is a significant event in history that happened associated with this. And if not history, just something of significance toward that number. And then you just have to market the shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an arbitrary one. 2008 does hold its impact. So we'll see if anyone's maybe Trader SD will want it, right? Turbo Bear or Michael J. Berry, but he won't find my thing without a Twitter account, I guess.
Did you see the? This is kind of off topic, but not really. Did you see the expose that dropped last night with all the bot stuff, and it was pretty wild.
Sorry, I was eating a chip. No, I did. I was up there on stage for a minute, and I kind of went off on a couple of the guys that were up on stage because they were claiming that they had no idea. Well, they were like, yeah, we did these giveaways, and our accounts just got extremely botted because of these giveaways, and it's not our fault that we got botted from the giveaways. I'm like, bro, I have known a million people that have done those type of giveaways, and they have not guaranteed automatically just had these massive bot farms that come and follow them. Maybe they end up engaging with the tweet and retweeting it, but it doesn't correlate to you bot your followers. It's that simple, which means most likely you probably did part of the botting of those tweets as well. And I just don't respect anybody that does that. And it's the same thing with the Twitter Spaces. Bro, it freaking pisses me off looking at how many NFT people are in the Mario Nafal Spaces and how it's just become this normal thing now. And I think the only thing that's different is that a lot, and this is something that's terribly wrong with NFT culture. NFT culture is so much about the engagement that people don't care how you get it. They just respect the number. So, rather than looking at Mario and saying, oh, he's botting his stuff, he's buying credibility, they're like, oh, it's good marketing. It's a good tactic. Who cares that he has a company that drives around fake marketing for fake projects to be able to help pump them up? Because, hey, we actually are really attracted to that. Can you help us out to do it for our project, right? Or for our account, help us grow like you did. And they see it as something that's attractive rather than something that's repulsive.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really liked about that expose is it showed people with a lot of actual clout and actual following. It took for Roke example, he had 300,000 followers, and he'll do a giveaway and it has 1,000 retweets and 2,000 likes or something, and then one of these other people will just do the tweet and it gets tens of thousands of likes and retweets, and it's always for a really, really, really shitty NFT versus the stuff he's putting out. It's for stuff that people actually want. So I'm glad they did that. But yeah, it was a crazy night. I kind of caught up on it all this morning.
Well, that's the thing too. One of the guys was like, "Oh, so you've done giveaways, so your account's botted." I'm like, "Bro, no. It because somebody does a giveaway does not inherently mean their account is botted. I did not buy whatever like you guys did. There's a difference with this shit. Like, I don't know. It just, everything about that culture drives me mad. I'm curious, what do y'all think about the Mario spaces? Because I mean, there are a million people like I think he may not do it with the tweets as much, but he definitely does it, slash at least did it to start off. I still think he does it some with the people that are in the audience. I'm just curious, what do y'all think about that approach toward the marketing side of it to, draw an engagement? Like, am I being too critical? I don't
No,
think I
I
am,
mean,
but
I think I don't mind them per se. I do. The only thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way is some of the like co-speakers, if you will, like I don't honestly I don't really even mind Mario, but like some of the people who are up there with him like think they're super important, and they'll like go back and forth and like promote themselves as something huge. But like I've been listening to his spaces for a while, and they have kind of like grown to be like almost out of control. But I mean, some of the conversations are good, but it's like I listen to a lot of spaces, and his is by far like not the best space on spaces. So the fact that he's getting tons of listeners, and like somebody like dude, I'm gonna give Thread Guy some like credit here. Like his spaces have gotten so much better, and like they're so much fun like to listen to. I don't know if you've been on there, but like seeing his numbers versus like Mario's is like, all right, come on, man. Like this guy's actually entertaining, and like this guy is having trouble carrying a conversation and asking legit questions.
I mean, that's a great point, right? Like, now, what I will say is, I think that through what he did with the FTX thing and like getting Elon on the spaces, like he actually did establish, a decent chunk of that probably is organic at this point, right? But definitely didn't start off that way. And it's tough, like I don't know exactly how the algorithm prioritizes all of that, but you look through it and there are just some things that don't make sense with it. And you're right, like they're just people that definitely host better quality content that deserve that, deserve it a lot more. But I mean, overall, everything else with that report, I know that wasn't in the report per se. Everything else that was in the report, I don't think there's anything really shocking in there. I think everybody kind of knew that it happened. It was just a matter of somebody putting it down on paper.
Yep, I agree.
What's going on, Bob?
Not much. Just wage cucking. Saw that sweep before. That you got some pretty good. I don't know like why people were like listing that much underneath point. Like it's kind of crazy to see. Like it's thin. I guess it's just people that are trading and are like. I still don't think a lot of people are looking at charts and understand like what's really going on. Even if you don't know anything about stonks or I don't know. It's and looking at the market too. I think it's maybe the checks going up. I mean that's like we have like that was actually the thing that was the play. Honestly, we had the solid. Well, if you want to consider it blue chip, but it's probably on its way. That was the thing for the last
Me and
couple of weeks that we basically all missed. And I was so close to pulling the trigger. If I would have just sold those stupid Ponzi's, I was like, hey, I could get 200 of these checks right now. Why don't I do this? And I'm like, no. This Ponzi thing is going to be, like the next big thing. So that would have been the ultimate degenerate play. But I wound up buying stonks instead of checks. So I still believe stonks will be a high, they'll be higher than checks within a year. I'm gonna say that confidently, but yeah.
Me and Rooster were talking about what you were just talking about earlier about like, because he had to like sell like a 9 trade and he had to floor like a panda. I think a lot of it right now is you see people basically flooring stuff to try and like either chase the next greatest thing or like say they have like a loud punks like whitelist and they're like that's like 1.5 ETH for some people. Like, that's a lot to like pulled together for a mint. It's an expensive mint, and so you see a lot of people trying not to miss out on
Dude,
that.
I don't
So
know what it is, but I always keep ETH. I always keep some ETH available for something like that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I mean that's what you want to do for
I don't
sure.
know why
But
people.
some
It's like
people,
you're liquid enough. You know what I mean? Like why go fully liquid? It just never makes any sense unless you're like guaranteed, like the thing's moving, and you know what I mean. There's enough momentum, but like most of the time, that's like not the case. So it's like I don't understand why everyone in this space is 100% a liquid, and it shows. But
Me
um,
personally, I just couldn't get the transfer authorized, through the centralized exchange to be able to just buy and transfer that much. Yeah, I mean, after a bunch of deacon plays and buying like 200 NFTs the past 2 weeks, like yeah, I have drained a little bit of my liquidity. But yeah, mainly I just couldn't get the transfer without the clearance from the money in the bank first.
Me personally, I just stay liquid because my degenerate side comes out and I end up buying the Ponzi's at the very top. So
dude, I bought the bottom and the top AC, so I lost like I had 20 ETH unrealized profits, and it wound up being I netted that out, and then I bought higher on the stonks to try to pump those above 0.42, and then we had Paper Hands McGee, whoever that was, just listing a bunch, but it doesn't matter. Not I didn't actually mean PP
Dude,
McGee,
it wasn't.
but
It was.
I didn't
You know what
realize
it
PP's on the
was?
stage.
it
Oh,
wasn't
nope.
me, dude. Look, we got Moose in the audience, Claire. I want to hear. I got to hear some Moose vibes if you want to bring him up.
You know what it was though? Like it was the stolen stonks. That's what we were talking about before you got up here, Bog. Like it's why I finally just went ahead and like swept them up because they were like 661 was back in the beginning, which I don't even think you were really around during the 661 days. Um, like 661, the story behind it was right after the inception of the stonks. Stonks were climbing higher, right? And there was one stuck on OpenSea because there was somebody that didn't have enough gas to be able to or ETH to pay for the gas for the transaction. So I think it was stuck at like 0.29, and the real floor above it was like 0.34. But then what you started to get was you started to get people that were just not very smart, and they'd look on there and they'd see the very first stock, oh, 0.29. So they'd come in and undercut that, even though like 99.9% of everything else was way higher. So it just led to this craze of people kind of undercutting, undercutting, undercutting. And then eventually, when you see enough undercutting, it's just kind of like, wanes the momentum a little bit. And that was the thing with those X2, Y2, that were stolen. Whenever they're flagged by OpenSea, people just don't want them. It doesn't matter what the quality of them are. People just don't want them on average. Occasionally people will like punt for the gems, but I just realized this morning, I was like, man, these are just going to sit here if I don't go ahead and sweep them. And I was going to wait, but I finally just decided I couldn't look at them anymore. So I had to make sure to just knock that out.
Someone had to do it, but I mean that was a solid sweep, and anything really under point three is free at this point. I mean it's even crazy because like everything is the coins are looking so bullish. I mean it's really a matter of time before that trickles back down. It has to make its move first, I think, before we see another uptick with NFTs. But I mean we've already some things like fully retraced the whole move, and some of the projects have, and the ones that moved in early January, like that move is already like gone. But I mean the Penguins, like
Most of
yeah,
them, like
yeah,
only the ones that have survived are basically the ones that were already moving in December.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, now you see like what the strength is, and like buying into strength, and like what projects are really the solid ones. I'm not going to say anything, but I mean, if you're just looking at any of these charts, I think it's kind of clearly obvious. I mean, even in the stonks, like it wasn't, it was super thin, and we're still holding point three, and we 5x'd in it last month. So um, I can only imagine what's going to happen this, and all the supply that was listed. I think there has to be at least a couple of hundred stocks. It's like anything else, right? You look at, if you have a lot of trading at a certain level, like that becomes the new level, and people's cost averages go up, and you know what I mean. You're getting other people out, so just like normal like market dynamics, it makes a ton of sense that if we do, or when we, I don't want to sound like a, if we cross that 0.42 line, then it really, there is no, like, the sky's the limit. Then you might want to start looking at maybe the USD high, which is like around an ETH or so. But yeah, like there's probably meme numbers in between, but that there's gonna be, we're at like a coiled spring for the stocks right now. So it really doesn't take too much, and I think that supply has slowly been chipped at. Those stocks have been distributed to people that will be probably holding, and they're not going to be selling at this range. So it does take some time because there really isn't a ton of volume anyway. But that's what you want to see for like another move higher, where we probably won't see below 0.42. Like if we do crack it, we're not going to see below that for too long, or if for a while, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, man, it's just one of those things. I think it all goes back toward, you have to have healthy areas of consolidation after you chat up out of different ranges, right? Like it's just part of the dynamics of it. I mean, the fact that it's maintained a 5x though, like, and just chopped here for a month is pretty incredible in and of itself. Rooster, what's going on?
See, the thing is, man, like you gotta look a little bit more like intricately into it, right? So, most projects out there are like somewhat, type promise utility type based, right? That are always waiting for like, that next move up, or you can like kind of time the way they trade, right? Like they pump during spaces and they settle back down afterwards. The stonks are a little bit different in the sense that like it's not attached to any utility. There's no major announcement that's going to be coming up. So like once they send, they, like Bob was saying, the sky's the limit. Like don't try and trade the stonks. Yeah, you can catch some arb opportunities, right? Like I just did when someone drops a 9 trade on the absolute floor, right? Like I mean like you can do that, but at the same time like there's going to be so many people hurt and left behind because they're trying to trade the stonks, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and like they've shot up from 1 ETH to 4.5 ETH, right? At least that's my thesis. I don't really, you can check my wallet. I've sold like maybe like 3 4 stonks. Like I don't try and trade the stonks. I get value where I can, and I hold that. I'm not getting left behind like one night just because I get swept up in one transaction, right, where some giga whale sweeps 50K worth of stonks, right? Like I'm not gonna middle bell curve that. Like trade something else. Like there's no point in trying to trade the stonks.
Bro, I'm telling you though, also just the percentage of people on NFT Twitter who know what the stonks are in general now versus that didn't a month ago is pretty insane.
No, yeah, I just wanted to say quickly, like, dude, all the spaces you're doing, it's an intangible thing, right? Like, this is clearly making a difference. It's like, to be honest, like, I just don't think a lot of people have money, but like, again, like, it just takes an influx of things. But they probably have other NFTs that are worth an equal amount. And when you start seeing that pot, like, NFTs are gifting goods. Like, when the price goes up, the demand goes up. It's one of those bizarre things that it's just the way that people are. I don't think they're experienced market participants. They just get really like they can't control the FOMO, and they buy. So it just takes a little cascade of like a little like fuel to get it going, and then you have them trying to look at the pudgies, right? People were selling doodles and clone X's and anything in the same tier, and that's how it propels it to the next tier. So you know like I think that'll like happen because people are aware of the stocks, but they probably don't see the volume, and they're like, oh, it's not moving right now, so they don't. It's on their radar, but they're not buying. But as soon as they start seeing an uptick, they'll be selling similar priced NFTs to buy. They'll swap them to buy this, when the new money flows in. So that's what people don't really understand, and it's like the perfect storm because your reach is huge, and I mean that's like there's a lot of reasons why I bought into this, but it's like again I think you really are going to be the the main person that gets CT into NFTs. Like you're somehow leading the charge, and because I don't really see like I see Cold Blooded Chill trying to do it. He tweeted about NFTs the other day. He has a couple 100,000 followers. He got like 30 likes on the tweet, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go full time. I'm going for
Wait,
heavier.
what did he say about NFTs? I didn't even see
Yeah,
it. Like, the algo didn't pick it
yeah.
up.
So he was just like, oh, I'm getting, I'm going deeper into NFTs. I'll be talking about that more on, on his Twitter and yada yada yada, right? And I was like laughing. I'm like, anytime you post a chart, you get hundreds and hundreds of likes because that's just really he's catering to his following. But now he talks about something else, no engagement. So if you look through his recent tweets, I think I'll try to find it. Shouldn't probably shouldn't be too hard, but yeah, like you've been
Is it the my NFT backstory thing?
my
Yeah, I think that's. I'll pin it.
but yeah, it's really interesting to see that, and I think Luca was talking about that in general, just with the marketing aspect with Pudgy. You don't see like a lot of engagement if you're talking about like for ads and stuff. Not even like if you're an influencer or whatever. If you're trying to just market your your brand, you talk about NFTs, and it's just like no engagement. If you call them digital collectibles, like it picks up. But I think that's different in his case because he has just probably the majority of his followers are traders, so that's what they want to see. And I don't even think they want to see NFT charts yet. So it's that I think it's hard for people to adapt. The shitcoins with or without pictures. It's a meme. We understand it, but it's just I don't know. It's kind of interesting because like the concept they're already into shitcoins. It's like literally this is just a shitcoin with a picture. I don't. It's not that hard of a concept to grasp, but I guess they just want to think like there's something else to it, or like what I mean. Like this is more legit. I don't know what it is like that. Some of these guys that haven't got in yet. I mean, they're gonna cross over, but I'm just trying to think of like what the cognitive dissonance
I think
is.
I know what it is. I think I know what a big part of it is. Like, I think there's different buckets of CT. There are people that literally only trade on centralized exchanges, so they don't really actually do anything on chain. And then there are the on chain people, and I think that the people that trade on chain, I don't get it. I mean, I guess they, more on the DeFi side of things, they're either like, farming or they're, I don't know. I mean, I guess just trading on Uniswap where it feels like things are a little bit more liquid. I just, there are going to be things that are put in place for NFTs that merge all of that together. Like it is going to happen in the next couple of years. So, and I mean, if nothing else, here's the deal, Bog. You're going to get some inflow of CT in there. You're never going to get everybody, but say that it's like 20% of CT right now that isn't in NFTs goes to NFTs. That's a ton of people. But what it's going to take for that to happen, it may not even be this part of the market, right? It may not be until 2024, 2025. I mean, it may be now. Maybe a chunk of that starts now. But I mean, with everything, the way that the way this market works, it doesn't take much for these projects to move. It's one of those things. If you can just hold on to something that you have conviction in, and that's a strong project that's been maintaining, all it takes is a little bit of momentum in the broader market for it to really send, right? Like it really just does not take very much. So it's just a patience game because, like with the checks, for instance, you see those running. And obviously, like anything that runs that you don't have versus what you do, you're like, man, had I just gone in on that, like, how could I have flipped whatever, whatever? And that's a dangerous mentality to have because a lot of the time, things that are running like that, you weren't in at a better cost basis to begin with, you will end up buying the top on that and you'll end up retracing, having less of whatever your high conviction bag is whenever you finally try to rotate back into it. So I think it's just one of those things. Again, if you can be patient with the market, look for projects that have had strength, that have that momentum, and that are consolidating right now. And I really think that those are going to continue to be the leaders here down the road. I mean, I'm telling you, we barely had any volume across the market in the beginning of January, and shit moved insanely across the board. So, point being, imagine as that really starts to scale up, what the possibilities are. I think there's so much opportunity that's just being discounted right now because people are short sighted.
Yeah, and I mean, we have like the fundamentals of like what constitutes a market like being worked on with the liquidity, and you have more options, like better platforms to trade on. So I think that'll attract more of those CT guys. I mean, like you keep talking about it, and we haven't really seen anything solid come out yet, but like a derivative like perp contract on some of the bigger projects, where I think that'll definitely draw like some attention. There's going to be some action on that. But it's happening, and like I think even with your outlook, if we have until the summer or to the end of Q2 before like things might start turning around, we could still get a little blip, but that's kind of all you need. Like and the real move obviously is going to be like the everything like bubble, like again next cycle, like where you got shit coins and NFTs, everything will be pumping when you just have money inflowing. But um like I think the foundation is like being set in a really nice way. And I mean, anyone in here is still, I would consider, an early adopter of NFTs because, dude, I've been listening, like, as I've been working this week, I listen to like some of these, these podcasts, these comedy podcasts, and I must have heard like these comedians shitting about like shitting on NFTs, like in every single episode, like there's something will get brought up, and I'm just like, what do you know about it? It's like so funny. I'm like, dude, stick to telling jokes. And it's like, yeah, that shit's dumb. Like, like, we're at that phase. I still remember in 2018, like, where you would be watching like Netflix and they would be throwing at like a lazy writer would throw in a crypto joke. We're at that part where everyone is shitting on us, in mainstream culture, which is like perfect. That's where you want, that's the pocket you want to be in. You want people to laugh. I learned that. Like, it's funny to be like, it's hard like when it's your first cycle and you're the laughing stock, but then when you see it happen over and over, it's just the mentality, and they're going to be the same ones buying into this shit in a year or two, right? So unironically, we are somewhat early, depending on the project, but uh, yeah, like that's where you want to be. You want to kind of feed off that cope, and the cope is what makes number go up at the end of the day. Like you want those people, like just flustered that they just don't understand it, and they're just like they're talking out of their ass about like probably everything else. Those are the same people that like have strong opinions on politics and everything. Like, there's people that say a lot of things and they don't understand anything. So that's the crowd of people that are at going against NFTs right now, and that makes me super bullish.
Yeah, man, and going back to the whole thing, that I, yeah, I really do think it's going to be the perps that red pill CT on everything. And I might be biased here, but I do think that there's a decent chance that the stonks are positioned well to be listed on something like that whenever it eventually does happen. Because, I mean, the influence that I have to be able to bring people onto certain platforms just by talking about whatever's happening there, I think that, even if there are listing fees, which I'm sure people will pay with that, like, dude, I'd be shocked if whatever exchanges that start this up don't just want to list the stonks inherently because of how much of an audience that would be able to bring in to them. Like the marketing from that alone would be insanely worth it. So like it's all going to happen. It's just a matter of being patient for the development, having conviction in the higher time frame plan, and not being in a rush to I guess check or chase every single next greatest thing along the way. So Shekinah, welcome up to the stage. How are you doing today?
What's up? What's up? I'm doing very good. I was smart today. I did take some profits and I felt like at peace. But no, I mean, what came to mind as I was listening to you guys speak, I think the sad thing is, I think not sad, but the unfortunate thing is for the miseducation and just the decision to be outright against NFTs for whatever reason, it's like these people don't realize the life-changing money that they like are missing out on. And I would bet, that a lot of them could probably use it and they just don't. And so I think that's some of the unfortunate part, but it's of their, yeah, it's of their own chosen, ignorance, because you could ask questions and for the most part, a lot of people don't.
I'll touch on that a little bit. One thing I will say is a lot of people who are totally against this, all they do see is the life-changing money, and it kind of turns them against this because they're like, oh, this is all a scam. But once you look past that and you look at the connections that I've only been able to get through NFTs versus just normal crypto, those connections that you make to people and are super valuable. I mean, if it wasn't for PFPs, NFTs, and like Pudgy Penguins, like I wouldn't be working with Pudgy Penguins right now. Like I would still be trading shit coins, making memes. Like I think one of the things people are missing out of this entire picture is the value that you can get by not having to sell your NFT. Like we shouldn't have to sell our NFTs to like get value from it. And I think that's what a lot of the people who are on the outside looking in are totally missing. Because all we ever talk about are the gains. I think once we start spreading the message of, hey, here's what you can get out of this without ever having to sell this asset, I think that's when we get to the next level.
Yeah, but that kind of introduces the mixture of the utility question into play too, right? Where, and I think it's all super blurred lines, but I do think that there are certain projects that have great utility propositions, and they might be able to follow through and continue to deliver on that. But I think utility is such a subjective term that it can be applied in tons of different ways, right? Like community is a legitimate utility. Anybody that says anything different is just, yeah, I think ignorant to what's actually happening and what the possibilities of real community actually can do for you. But then two, the like people meme and laugh about art being a utility. I really see it as that. Art in and of itself is a utility. Like when you look at it from, again, look back to physicals and collectibles. Why do people do that? One, it means something to them, so it resonates with them personally. But two, it's also a cultural flex in a certain sense. And whether people recognize that or not, like that is a transcendent ideology that typically only gains momentum, for quality projects and pieces. So I really think that's utility in and of itself. Historical significance, art, community, a lot of the intangibles that you don't have to sit out there and list on a roadmap are all real things. Caesar, what's up, man?
Mr. Kaleo, brother, one more day grinding here, eh? I fucking love it, man. Appreciate it. Man, so I was discussing what are NFTs? What is the value of NFTs? And so taking like one step even farther from what you are saying about utility, the value of an NFT is whatever the fuck is the value to you. You get my point? For some people, it might be the art. For some people, it might be to use it as a financial vehicle and speculate on it. For some people, it might be the community. So actually, the value of an NFT is what you make out of it, man. So everyone has their own opinion, their own emotions, their own, let's say, like timeline in life, their own thing, man. And for some people, holding an NFT, as you said, Khalil, is a cultural flex, but it's very subjective, man. It's very subjective, but still there is this truth value that brings many people together, man. And that's the magical sauce that no one can fucking understand how it works, right? It takes a lot of hard work, but there is this magical source when everybody comes to an agreement and says this is a fucking blue chip project, let's fucking go. Do you get my point? So it's very subjective, but at the same time, there is this secret magic sauce that some projects have, man, out of their hard work, out of their creativity, out of the, do you get my point, the time in the space. So yeah, man, the value of NFTs, utility, all this shit is it's amazing, man. It's just a lot of curiosity and a lot of things to learn in the space, man, and enjoy. So yeah, just a thought about it, man.
No, I appreciate that, Caesar. I mean, I completely agree. Intangibles are pretty crazy. And, talking about like something that, again, going back to the whole volume part of this earlier, like checks is above a 1 ETH floor from basically a free mint with under 5K of total volume. like under 5K in total volume, bro. Back during the real NFT bull market, you would get that in a day on a project that did that type of a move. So it's, I'm telling you, whenever real volume hits this space, it doesn't take much to be able to move quality.
Fuck, man. Bro, do you think when is the right time to mint the project in 2023, man? Do you think some minting projects are right to happen in this first quarter, second quarter? Should they delay it for three quarter or the fourth quarter? Or should we, because I was talking about this, man, and or should we people do kind of like small mintings, small releasings, maybe a couple of free mints, and then later on when the liquidity comes, they will release the full collection. How do you see also, Khalil, like minting new projects versus buying in secondary? When you are in the bear market, should you mint new projects or should you buy in secondary? When you are on a bullish market, should you maybe look more at secondary than minting new projects? Like, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Man, if I had the perfect answer for that, I'd be a really wealthy man. I think that, you know, I wish I could tell you exactly what makes a project incredibly successful for any new mint and when the best time for that would be. Um, so I've got no real clear answer on that. I think that mints do typically better whenever there is more bullish momentum in the market, but that doesn't mean that they can't do well without it. But on that same note, that's why I like primarily to look at projects that have been established, have been around, have been grinding, that have been doing well, have a long period of time where, I can look back at the fundamentals of a higher time frame chart and say, okay, yeah, not just the fundamentals line up, but the technicals do too. I like where those two things meet. And that's, personally one of the ways that I decide what projects to go on. But I mean, obviously, dude, there are so many people that do well without, caring about either of those things. So I think it's about just finding what works well for you. I'm going to go to Shekinah, then I'm going to go to Small Peepo.
Yeah, no, I was going to answer that question. I think it's a mix of things, and because we're on this NFT Twitter kind of small community, I think it you got to there has to be visibility, and it just seems visibility seems to come with like you rallying the community, but also some type of connections with those that we like to term as like influencers. I think some type of connection, or link to like alpha groups and, just kind of those back end coordinated schemes that kind of get something pumping, or you just all of a sudden start seeing people like you see the trend on the timeline that started yesterday, people going private, and it's just like it's so annoying, like whatever, but like someone started it or a group of people started it and then people started to follow and now you see it like everywhere. And it's just like, someone changes their PFP, like I don't think like I think it's Luca is the new guy that purchased was it the Pudgy Penguins. Like I don't know what his connections were like prior to like NFTs, but like I think he had a really big marketing campaign behind the scenes and probably like in the front, like in the like front facing, but also behind the scenes to make sure that he'd be able to raise the level, like or kind of raise the kind of raise up the level the level of like the floor or whatever, or raise the popularity to kind of bring it back, resurrect it. I mean, we'll see if OmniForce is able to do that with whatever they're trying to do. Who else has done this? I don't know. Because you think about like even like the artifact clones, like everybody would have thought that they would be, I don't know, like CryptoPunk or ape level because they were acquired by Nike, the company Artifact. But it's like, well, no, like you just, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just a lot of coordinated things happening in the background that we don't see, because that's the same thing that kind of works with crypto. Crypto is also, we know this, is manipulated and by those that have the most and kind of what they dictate and what they choose to sell and buy and etc. So Yeah, like I think it's a lot of coordinated stuff and you know, hella marketing and whatever, maybe bots, etc. But it's a lot of marketing on the back end that most people don't see, is what I would say.
Small Peepo, what's up?
What's up? So to continue on the last note, I want to start out with a passage I read recently. If you really want the truth, you need to escape the black hole of power and allow yourself to waste a lot of time wandering here and there on the periphery. Because revolutionary knowledge rarely makes it to the center because the center is built on existing knowledge. Also, to continue on the question someone else had, like the question should not be, should I mint new or existing projects? But like Leo said, you should look for value. You shouldn't have to sell your NFT to get value out of a project. So that's what I'd like to add.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing that I'll add to at the end of the day, comparison is the thief of joy, right? Like if you're sitting there and you're constantly, you know, you've got a high conviction play and you're sitting there just watching whatever the hot project of the day is, bro, you're probably going to end up making a bad decision. Either by one, rotating into whatever that hot project is at the top, or two, you'll be so convinced that, you know, you knew that this project was going to take off, but you just didn't have, you know, what it took to pull the trigger that first time. So the next time you see something, you're like, you're going to ape into it. And then you ape into whatever that next thing is, and boom, you know, you end up getting wrecked from it. It doesn't do what you thought it did. Like that other one that you didn't touch ended up doing. And, you know, then your project that you initially had conviction on takes off. It just, you know, like it ends up robbing you of joy of the present moment of what you're working through and kind of the, like, I think so much of the beauty being involved with a lot of this stuff is the journey, right? Like the destination in a sense is arbitrary. Like the destination is something that, you know, it's different for each and every person. But, you know, I think it is the collective process of getting there that, you know, just creates the history and the value behind something in the first place. And the people that have the patience to stick around through that really are the ones that understand the value of the project, that are able to do things like, you know, like Rooster the other day with that 9 trait where he was able to scoop that up off the floor in a minute and, you know, flipped it for a 3x basically in a couple of days. Like, you know, there's so many opportunities like that out there. I think that, you know, smaller, more patient plays, but they're usually the safer plays. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you, a lot of the people that ended up making it big in this space aren't the ones that traded the most. They're the ones that had the highest conviction in a project that eventually became what they believed that it would.
Can I give an example of that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So basically, there's this project. I'm not gonna mention it because I'm not a chiller. But they actually like had everything planned out of their roadmap, and they started like funding through NFTs. But like you said, you can flip an NFT, you can trade it. But with this project, the use case, the utility of the NFT is like liquidity provision percentage and whitelist for the ticker.
And what happened with the project?
Like they launched their NFT project, but they're working in waves. So someone mentioned how should projects mint. The project is actually taking the strategy of like upping the price slowly but surely, because the NFTs like provide actual value for the actual protocol, the multi-chain protocol.
That's interesting. I think slow mints are a really interesting concept. I think they're really difficult to execute. Pandas, I think, are the best example of that. But, you know, when you're looking at the difficulty of what makes it tough, it's, well, whenever you have X% of a collection that's listed, you know, something basically has to be done to be able to maintain that floor to where it's not beneath the new listing price, unless you consider there to be enough of a delta between what the floor is and what the new mints are, that people are willing to go ahead and take the risk on the new mint because of the opportunity of knowing that, hey, there could be some type of rare that is above the floor at this chance, because it's almost like an unrevealed collection versus a revealed collection. So it's difficult to execute, but it's one of those things that, I mean, you can see what happened with the pandas with it, where I think that throughout the process of them minting out, they really gained a strong organic community that has ended up performing well because of it later on down the road. But it's, you know, not a typical metric that people look for in projects, just because, I mean, it doesn't typically happen.
Yeah, true. Maybe if I can mention the NFT project, if that would not be a problem for you, Kelio, the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure, go for it, man.
So the project is called Hexane Finance, and it's actually like a multi-chain hub where you can do everything, anything DeFi, like all in one place, because we all probably know the struggle of DeFi, like having to go through multiple protocols to actually do one transaction. But yeah, so they actually like are utilizing the NFT function to get the funding going. It's in my bio also. I think it's where a real value is found. Like long term, you don't have to sell it to get value out of it.
That's interesting. You know, you want my honest take with why you're going to see a lot more people doing NFT projects for funding or other, because they don't have to go down the VC route of, you know, a lot of these tokens that different exchanges or other things like that release, like an exchange token, dude, every exchange token's worthless. I don't care what benefits they give you. They don't need a token to be able to, they don't, right? They do not need a token to be able to do that. The only value of a token for them is the fact that, you know, hey, they're able to drive some, you know, some type of profit from it,
Yes.
you know, do some type of raise. NFTs are way cleaner because of the fact that they are not officially considered any type of security right now. I mean,
this is real alpha.
Yeah, like the line's kind of blurry a little bit, but yeah, I think that you're going to have a lot more people doing that type of stuff down the road just because of the ease of access on the regulatory side. I mean, they're just saying it's easier to raise money through, you know, cleanly through an NFT project than it is through a token. Caesar, what's up?
Bro, I was just because I told you that I bought myself a new phone, but at the same time I ate some Wonky Stonks to compensate, man. To get my point, a bit of investment, a bit of spending. And I saw your I was on another app while you were talking, man, and I saw your PFP on the dynamic island, man. And I was wondering if you will ever consider minting your fucking profile picture, man, or you will do a raffle with the Wonky Stone holders and maybe mint that fucking one-on-one that is
But dude, why would I
historical,
ever,
man.
like, I get it, but why would
Yeah.
I ever mint it, right? That's what I'm talking about as far as the utility side of things. I just don't see the need to ever mint it. Like, it's, I don't know, I would never sell it if I minted it. So I like, you know, what is the point of me minting it at that? Like, I don't know. Without there being a real vision behind it, I don't see any need to ever do it.
Got it. I mean, it's just like a piece of history. You get my point, a collectible. As you said, like, I don't know, man. It was just a thought when I saw you on the Dynamic Island, and I know that your PFP is a fucking
What
legendary
is the
one.
dynamic island?
So the new iPhone, man, you have the Dynamic Island. So, for example, when you are on Twitter Spaces, let's say if I go to another app, I see your small profile picture on the Dynamic Island. So they want anyone that is speaking. If I go to another app, I see the profile picture of that person on the dynamic island. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why I thought about it. It looks cool,
No
man.
idea.
Yeah, man, the dynamic island on the new iPhone, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to Google it.
Oh my god, it's okay, man. It's okay, but it just looks cool, man.
Avatava, you have not had a chance to hear you speak yet, man. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I think I just want to bring up maybe a silly take that I have. for moving from maybe crypto Twitter over to the NFT side. I think a lot of what it was like pride and vanity. Like sometimes you look at some of the NFT PFPs and they're kind of silly, but once you get one, it becomes like a source of pride in a way. And so I think sometimes people, it's just like once you get into it, you're in it, but it's really hard to cross that threshold. I think sometimes maybe.
Yeah, and Avatava, by the way, you sound a little bit like a robot again, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, but it's true. I mean, that it's all part of the, I guess, the NFT culture is it's a lot. A lot of it doesn't click until you end up actually getting plugged into the process. I'm curious, was anybody up here on stage, skeptical? Like, what was it that red pilled everybody up on stage on NFTs? I'm really curious. What was kind of your moment where it just clicked and made sense?
Honestly, for me, I would say the how easy it was to make money. Like I was, this, like I was, like the lawyer for Artifact in 2021. So I got into NFTs, I would say February 2021. And I was doing a lot of research because I had to, for like legal stuff. And I would say I had them pay me in USD. I didn't ask for any NFTs because I just didn't get it. Like I didn't understand it. they were paying me good money like in USD, but obviously I could have done a lot better. Or at least done half and half, NFTs and US and USD, or probably some ETH. And then I would say in August of 2021 is when I saw you might remember these I think they were called Wicked Apes, or they were just kind of a mix between the Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Wicked Cranium. So they were just skulls of apes, and I was like, these are pretty cool and they're pretty cheap. Let me try this, because by that time I'd gotten I had to download MetaMask and kind of figure that out. And I didn't ask any of the Artifact guys. I was just like, I'm on Twitter, I'm listening, and I was on Clubhouse as well earlier. Let me give this a try and see what it's like. And so I'd say, I think it's Wicked Apes. I don't remember what they were called, but that was the first thing that I minted. And then within a couple months, I probably had a $1,200 profit. I sold it for a good profit. And I remember immediately texting my family and kind of telling them that and screenshotting it. I even screenshotted it, to on Instagram, to share it in my stories, because the people that follow me are all my Web2 friends, all previous social workers, because that's what I used to do. But funny, no one on Instagram asked me, none of them, they liked it. They thought it was great, but no one asked me, well, what is it? What did you do? They didn't ask me any questions. My family did ask me questions, and I tried my best to explain it, but it's hard to explain. And they're still not in NFTs, but that's what did it for me, is what I would say. But trust me, I regret, not, I don't regret too much because I've done well, but it would have been nice to have gotten some of those early Artifact NFTs in 2021.
Oh, that's cool. That was even an option. They could include that as part of a compensation package.
You can negotiate it how you want to. And I don't have a problem saying this either. Thankfully, I didn't do this on purpose, but I'm licensed as an attorney in Washington, D.C. And I think it's one of three. DC is for fact, but I think there are two other states or jurisdictions that allow attorneys to receive compensation via crypto. Most of them don't. I don't know if that's changed, but I did look into that because I wanted to make sure that I could do that. So I started accepting crypto. I don't do that anymore, but I started accepting crypto in the fall of 2021. So we're on October 2021. When I took on other clients, I gave crypto as an option that you could pay me in that. But I can say that Artifact did give me my clone for free. So that was pretty nice.
Oh, that is awesome. Caesar, what's up, man?
Bro, I think that's an amazing question, man, and that's the question that I figured out in April 2021. Because on April 2021, man, as you know, I was following your calls, doing a lot of crypto stuff, man. You get my point. I believe that 100% I fought for crypto, man. I'm in the blockchain space since 2015. I have a blockchain company. We do digital documents. So we have many customers in Latin America working with universities, but we just bought Ethereum just to perform the transactions. You get my point? So we had to have some Ethereum in our wallet, not as an investment, but just because we needed to use the fucking Ethereum to process the transactions of the digital documents that we were issuing. But then it was later on that I started trading the tokens and Ethereum, BTC, you get my point, and stuff. And then I at the same time, like I was doing a master's in economic history, and I was watching some documentary on WWDW. You get my point, like this documentary channel from Germany that they produce very good documentaries. And I was seeing the stories of some billionaires, German billionaires, that they made a lot of fucking money in real estate, man. To my point, they bought a lot of shitty buildings right after the war and stuff, and they started building, man, super cheap. And they were like patient enough, man. They were first movers into the real estate business, man. And of course, man, 30 years later, they fucking made it, man. They fucking made it. Do you get my point? So they saw an opportunity and they went all in for it. And when it comes to NFTs, man, I saw a lot of things coming together that is hard to happen. You get my point? So you have, for example, the cultural shift that you saw, like it's a cultural flex to be on NFTs, but it's a lot of liquidity, and then you have the attention, and then you have the internet, and then you have that people are spending more time online, and then you have digital identities, more screen time for everyone. So I was like, man, this is an opportunity. And with the skill sets that I have myself, which is like, man, I'm good at many things. I believe that this was the space for me, man. And also, for innovation to happen, you need a lot of variables, as I'm saying, right? You not only need money, you also need some sort of like knowledge spillovers. You get my point, like a constant pushing each other for see who is gonna get the throne, and this makes everyone better. So I believe that a lot of variables to make something happen are happening in NFTs, man. So I got dragged into this industry of NFTs because as the first mover advantage, man. I wanted to seize the opportunity. So I've been building here, man, for a long time, and that's why I'm bullish, man, because I think the magic sauce is like the same thing with Solana, right? Why I think Solana is super good at NFTs, because they managed to put in one blockchain all the recipe for NFTs, like the community, the hype, the nice UX, uh, the nice kind of like vibe. You have a point to be cool, all this stuff. So the same thing happened with NFTs, man. It's a lot of shit that happened, the liquidity, everything. So I was like, man, let's fucking seize this opportunity. Let's learn it. Let's really try to understand it. And I've been fucking learning every fucking day, man. And every fucking day I learn something new. It's like so unexplored, man. Everyone is so diverse, building different stuff, man, having different utilities, different views about what NFTs are and everything. So it's just a fascinating space, man. And besides that, it's not only the money, man. It's a lot of money, liquidity in the NFTs, right? But I met many people in real life, man, and also online. And I talked to them, and I realized how many smart people came here, right? So when you have like smart people and money coming together, man, and in a diverse space, man, only innovation can happen. You get my point? So we are destined for success, man, if we keep like being a magnet for these bright minds from Web 2, from other industries that we never thought. Like I'm seeing on my timeline, I'm seeing like, okay, I'm a PhD in doctor, I'm a paramedic, I'm a fucking skydiver, I'm a surfer, I'm a fucking historian. You get my point? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an artist. So all of this diversity, man, makes this space extremely exciting, man. And innovation happens when you put all these variables into this magical soup, man. So that's why I'm bullish on. And also, again, because of the first mover advantage, man. So I'm happy to be building here and being long term, man.
You love to hear it. Love to hear it, man. I mean, it is cool how everybody has a little bit of a different perspective, a little bit of uniqueness in their approach. Small people, I know you were raising your hand a little bit ago. What's going on?
Um, yeah, so what Caesar said, I personally never bought NFTs, but I worked in 2 projects, and that is the thing that red pilled me. Like how easy it is to build a community, like to connect and just try to innovate. That's what I wanted to add.
Got it. The thing is, like, man, I did my master's in economic history. I did economics in university. You get my point. I come from this, like, let's say, formal educational that teaches us how innovation happen, right? How many variables have to come together. And I saw them on NFTs, man. I saw the fucking opportunity also in blockchain. So that's why I'm bullish. And it's more like a fundamental macro type of thing. And then from the macro, I went into the micro. I went to the communities, realized the art stuff. But for me, I saw kind of like the big picture, man. Big picture with big fundamentals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was similar for me where I feel like, and this may sound a little bit crazy, but I thought I knew really about the NFT space whenever I launched the Stonks, but I've grown so much, matured so much since then that I realized it really wasn't until I started buying until I really understood, buying stuff outside of my own project where because I had bought a crap ton of Stonks off the floor, but you have to really get exposed to other community and kind of grow your reach a little bit outside of whatever your comfort zone is, I think, to really gain a full appreciation for the space and what it has to offer. Caesar, what's up?
Yeah, bro, 100% agree with you. The thing is, like, NFTs are a fucking lifestyle, man. So it's the same like when Argentina won the World Cup, right? And the Argentinian players, they were not the best team, man, but they fucking have this desire to win, man, this desire for the game, these fucking fans going crazy. You get my point? Like, it was like so many Argentinians in fucking Qatar, and everyone in Argentina is fucking poor. So how the fuck these motherfuckers made it? You get my point? It's like all this hype about Argentina. It's like people don't understand, man, because people don't live it. People are not Argentinians. They were not born with that culture. You get my point? So NFTs are the same thing, man. NFTs are a lifestyle. You choose to have this lifestyle. So until you don't open the door to have this lifestyle, you won't understand what's the value of NFTs, man. So until you don't buy your NFT, until you don't fucking make a flip, until you don't fucking join a Twitter Spaces, until you don't fucking make a new friend because this motherfucker also have the same PFP, until you don't fucking can be here fucking talking with Kaleo, man. One on one, you get my point with us, man. You get my point. You don't understand how fucking special this is, man. So NFTs are a lifestyle, man, and I'm very bullish.
Yo, I love that energy. And with that energy, I'm going to go ahead and close out the space. I've got a couple other things I've got to knock out this afternoon. But appreciate everybody that was able to come up here. Another day, another space. We're going to keep these rolling every day until stonks hit a new all-time high. It is going to happen, and we're going to manifest it. So really
30,
appreciate everybody's
35 ETH.
takes.
35 ETH is all it takes to get us there.
Let's
85
fucking
gas.
go. Let's fucking
It's
go,
not
man.
much, not much at
Fucking
all.
go.
So yeah, with that, y'all, I will see y'all later. Enjoy the rest of your Thursdays, and yeah, wonky stonks are inevitable. See y'all later.